Hi everyone. Thank you for joining me again today. I have been very busy lately designing and creating a website which has been my dream project for the longest time that I know, and it's called wenowhub.com. It's a classified ad site. Basically, it's a directory where women can go and post whatever they're doing, their products or services, completely free of charge. Now, because I have been so involved in this project and that I have launched it's launched already. If you wish to go check it out, you can go and check it out, and if you want to post something, you can do it. Now, I have been asked that why do I do what I do? Why am I doing this? What's in it for me, and what's in it for you as a person who goes there and posts something? So first of all, I'll try to make this as short as possible because there's a story behind why do I do what I do. If I can't keep it short, I'll probably make this video in 3 parts. So the first part and the story behind why I started this website. I had started this project about 6 years back, and because I didn't have the financial resources and I didn't know really how to go about doing any of this, I had just jumped in. So I really messed it up. Okay, now why do I do it? For those of you know and those who don't know, I was born and brought up in India. Now, India is a place where there is a lot of poverty. There are a lot of women out there who are doing, they're making something or they're providing some sort of service just so that they can support their family. I mean, a lot of their husbands are daily age earners, and what they earn is not enough to sustain their family. So it's these women who do this kind of work or job, and they try to sustain their family. And most of these women are uneducated, so they really can't get office jobs. Growing up, I grew up in an area where my apartment was surrounded by an area, a slum area called Dharavi. If you Google it, you will know that Dharavi is one of the biggest slums, I think, all over the world. So every time I had to go to my apartments, I had to pass the slum area. And every time I passed the slum area, it was just something not known to me really. It was just, there were houses and there were huts and there were people living there, which didn't really register in my mind as a child that what that is all about, what poverty is all about. But as a child, always I have been very sensitive, very emotional, and I always wanted to do good, and I would feel very bad if I saw anybody suffering, or when I would see kids on the street begging or asking for money in torn, tattered clothes, and families living on the roadside. A lot of that in India, especially where I was staying. And I guess the turning point, I think, somewhere came when I was maybe about 5 or 6, I'm not sure, but for whatever reason, my mother entrusted me to my maid. I had to go to my maid's house, who lived in one of those huts, shabby huts. She had to go somewhere, and I had gone to the maid's house, and that was a shocker. I can't tell you what a shocker it is, and what a shocker it was for me as a child to see the way that section of society of people live like. I mean, they don't have walls, they don't have proper walls, they don't have proper roofs. Their houses get flooded when it starts raining. They don't have running water. They have to line up to get water. I'm sorry, I'm getting very emotional about this, but this is something that has always meant a lot to me. They don't have toilets. They don't even have any sort of place in their homes where they can attend to their daily needs. They need to line up, and it's all public. There are tiny houses and huts which are close to each other. So yeah, that was one of my first eye openers, and that is what kind of molded my mindset that I want to do something about them, for them. And I guess that's when I started, I would do random things for people, or for street people, maids, that I would think that I could bring some happiness or some joy in their lives, or help them in some way. I think if my mom is watching this, she will still remember my maid. uh, when my aunt had given me a new doll, and when my mom gave me this doll, I mean, she gave it to me, she said that this maid was there, and you should be very grateful that you are getting such lovely toys or dolls or whatever. Hajra's has a daughter the same age as you, but she doesn't have all this. She doesn't get dolls, she doesn't have any of these toys to play with. And at that moment, immediately, without thinking, I just ran up to her and gave her my new doll. I said, "This is for your daughter. I have a lot of toys already. Please give your daughter." And I was still very young at that age. I think I must be 7 or 8. I'm really not sure about the time frame, but that's the kind of person I was. I always asked, why is there so much suffering? Why can't everybody have the same things? As a child, that was my questioning. Then later we shifted to another home, but from that home also I could see another section of Dharavi, the same slums, and this was a bit high-end kind of slums compared to what I was seeing in the other place. But one thing I noticed, which was common, is that women were doing these kind of things. And so I had enrolled in a small scale development program, which was organized by my state government, because I thought I would create a kind of cooperative collaboration of women who are into small scale industries, or doing these home based businesses, or offering services, so they can all support each other. And this has always been in my mind, but I could never really put it in action. And this dream and this idea really solidified when I started working. Okay, I started working in one of the fancy department stores. And before that, when I was studying in college, every day I had to walk to go to the train station. And when I passed the train station, I used to see families of people living on the roadside, and they used to do cane work, bamboo work. So they would do weaving, and they would make baskets and things like that. And then there were women there who used to do embroidery work. Those who are familiar with Indian embroidery work, and that there is minute work which is hand work, which is very famous. You can get it in fancy boutiques. So coming back to the fancy boutiques, so when I started working in this store, I noticed that the same things which these people were making was sold at really ridiculously high prices to cater to the so-called high society or to the tourists, while these people who sat and put in so much effort didn't really get paid what they were supposed to, should have been paid. These merchants were buying their products at dirty prices, not really paying them as they should have. They used to take advantage of the fact that they didn't really know where their products were going. They were just so relieved that someone was buying it from them, or they had a contract to make and send it to the supplier. What the supplier was doing and where he was selling it, at what price, they had no idea. And when I saw these things, seeing those things that I have seen these people make on the streets in that place where I was working, I decided, no, this is not right. I want to do something about it. I wanted to create maybe a cooperative where women could get together and promote each other's products, or we work together to share profits and make sure that everybody gets what their effort is worth. So that didn't happen at that time, because I got married and I came here to Malaysia. And that's when I realized what empowerment means. because I was in a new country. I didn't have friends. I didn't have any sort of really any support system, and I knew a lot of things I wanted to do. I had skills, but I really didn't know where to start and whom to approach to get started. So basically, I was on my own, and I wished at that time I had some sort of support to empower me. And so that was again something that was a reminder that, do this. This is probably, there are other women who are like you, and or they have skills and they can't market it. So then coming back to where I'm now, that's why I started this website. I couldn't do anything for those women who are in those slums or in those shabby huts, or whatever they are doing over there. They don't even have access to online websites and things. But yeah, I know that there are still a lot of women who have now moved forward, and they have access to some sort of technology, and they could probably get to my website, which would be great. So that's where my site, the idea of my site, We Now Hub, has come about from. It has come about from my childhood and my growing up years, where I really wanted to do something for people. Maybe it didn't really serve me in any way. I was probably putting a lot of myself out there, and but yeah, I was happy. I used to be happy when I saw the smiles. I mean, when I saw the street children in tattered clothes, and they would come and ask me for some money or something. I used to love talking to them. I used to take them and feed them. I was like, do you want to eat? Come, let's go. And I think if my brother is watching this, he'll remember that there was a time in our new car where I took a whole carload of street urchins, street kids who were dirty and in rags, and I told them, come, let's go for a drive. And then I had also taken them to a restaurant where they weren't allowed to enter, or they weren't allowed to even sit out on the tables outside to eat. And I was really angry. I was like, I'm paying you, I'm not coming in your restaurant, just give us the food outside. And they said no. So yeah, that was like, what's your problem? I didn't understand this mindset. So yes, this is my story, and this is why I'm so passionate about We Now Hub. It's something I have gone back to and restarted it again. So I'm hoping that women will benefit from this, and they will post on this site and create a community where they are sharing each other's products or services. There are corporations in India who do this in a normal basis, like in a conventional basis, where women get together, they make things and they share the profits. Well, here we don't share any profits, but what we can do in today's social media time is that we can share each other's products. Now, if I am offering, let's say, beauty products or beauty services, I can share that service on my social media platforms for somebody else. I mean, someone there would need a beauty product, and they would reach out to this. So it's a win-win situation when women empower each other by sharing their products without having this mindset that why should I do what I do? What is it in there for me? So I really think it's a great idea to support. I know there are a lot of support groups online which do the same thing, and I'm really grateful, and I really appreciate that there are other women who think similarly, and they have Facebook groups or they have websites where they do the similar thing. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought of this or who wants to do this. It's not a unique idea. It's just my idea for me, so it matters for me. It matters to me, So yes, if you feel like, you can go and support We Now Hub. It's still in its initial stages, but any support would be appreciated.